Hello everybody, my name is Duke. Thank you for watching and welcome again. We talk about a lot of different things on this channel and lots of interesting topics. Today I want to talk about some economics. So if you like that, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe to this channel because we got lots of content coming your way every week. I live here in Texas. We've had this big winter storm, the energy fiasco, millions of people without power. I was without power for 4 days, and it wasn't rolling, it wasn't on and off, it was the whole time. And I got a big rip in my ceiling, and for some reason, the concept of like privatized markets and free markets and capitalism has come under fire because of this. And it's really making me want to dive into, well, what exactly is capitalism? What exactly is capitalism? So let's dive into that. Well, what is capitalism? And two, why America is not capitalist, truly. So think about it this way. We as human beings, we need to eat. We need to, have a place to live, and we need to, we need companionship, love, right? There's kind of like this basic, level of needs and wants that each of us has, right? How do we acquire those things? We acquire those things by production. And let me explain. So back in the caveman days, right? Let's draw Caveman Dave. I don't know why his name is Dave, but it just feels appropriate. This is Caveman Dave here, and he's got a club because that's what cavemen have. Caveman Dave is on the hunt for some like caribou or whatever they hunt in the caveman jungle, whatever. He's on the hunt to find something to eat so he can bring it back to his family and they can survive another week or whatever, stay warm, be fed, have shelter, right? That is exactly how our society still works today, except the only difference is Caveman Dave is now, just regular dude Dave. Maybe I shouldn't have erased him because it's pretty much the same. Regular dude Dave. And instead of a club, he has skills. Skills. It's like Napoleon Dynamite. Don't have enough skills, Skills which he can then swap for some moolah, for some dinaro, for some queso, cheddar, bread, stacks, racks, cheese, for some money, right? And then he can take that money and exchange it for food, shelter, companionship. Right? Can exchange that for that and maybe a nice car or something, right? But really it's the only difference between this regular dude Dave and Caveman Dave is he's not actually killing the food. He's just producing something. He's producing value in the marketplace to get money to then exchange it for this. There's like a couple levels between him and the food and the caribou, we'll call it. So how does this work? Right? How does this work? Well, Here's how capitalism rewards people. There's a lot of people out there that feel like capitalism is tilted against them, and that could be true because maybe they're not playing by the rules. See, the rules of capitalism are this: production. Production is the goal, right? Production is the goal, which then is swapped for money, which then is swapped. Like this is like the production of value production, we'll call it. Value production is what creates money, because money is value, right? Value production. But how do you create value? How do you create value, right? Well, basically, we're going to oversimplify this, but there's labor, right? Labor and capital. There's labor and capital. You can invest labor, capital, or technology, but that's technology kind of replaces labor, okay? But the whole concept of capitalism is that you have like this value production. This is happening in a corporation. This is happening in a corporation, right? And the corporation invests human capital or employees, and they invest money into value production, value creation, which in turn produces more money, which then cycles back into here, cycles back into here, and cycles to the owner of the corporation, or owners, right? So, who benefits the most from this? Do you think it's this guy, or do you think it's this guy? Well, obviously it's this guy, because he's not doing this. He's not, at least at this stage, this is like a late stage, right? This person came up with an idea, and they invested their own labor at first in their own money to bring it to a part where it runs as a machine. It produces enough money that they can then reinvest it and then step away and get into something else. So what does this mean? What does this mean? It means that there's basically two types of people in capitalism. There's two types of people in capitalism. There's employees, and I don't know why, but the employee is going to be wearing a hat. There's employees, and then there are owners. Okay? Owners. Employees. So the reality of the owner is that the owner takes substantially more risk, right? They put their own money, they sacrifice their own money and safety and security with the potential to basically, create something that generates value and money for them when they're not there, right? Whereas the employee, they don't benefit as much right? Because they take less risk, right? They take less risk. Owners take more risk. And because of that, if the venture is successful, then the owner is rewarded more than the employee, right? So really what happens is capitalism rewards people. Capitalism rewards people who take the most risk in a general sense. If you're willing to risk your money, your time, your body, your energy, if you're willing to risk these things, then you will be rewarded. Guys like Bill Gates, I watched the docuseries on him, the bio series on Netflix, and I mean, the dude put everything on the line. Same with Jeff Bezos. He was an employee, right? He was an employee, and he wanted more upside. He wanted more risk and more reward. So he went out and he started Amazon out of his garage, right? Jeff Bezos, did I say that right? That's who I'm talking about. So why are people mad at capitalism? Why do they think it doesn't work? Why do they think it doesn't work? Because they are, let's draw, what does America look like? It looks like this. This is the US. It's a very crude representation. That is the United States, right? They are employees in the US. Employees in the US. Right? And the reason that people don't like capitalism is because they aren't taking enough risk to make it worth their while. Like, there's all this talk of the minimum wage. The minimum wage is $7.25, right? I used to make minimum wage. The minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Earning this wage does not afford you a quality of life. It doesn't. They want to double the minimum wage practically to 15. They want to double this, which is great and all, but money doesn't just grow on trees. It has to be produced. It has to be created from value. So what kind of production are we going to put into place to justify this? Right? Just a question to ask. So here's, maybe I'm rambling on pretty long, but here's why we don't like capitalism right now. Because in real capitalism, the people who take the most risk are business owners. Right? People who take the most risk are business owners. Therefore, when production is down, which it is right now, by the way, right? Profits are down because of the economic shock that is the coronavirus, right? This is in the wrong spot. This is just money down. There's less value being created. When money is down, these people need to fail. These people should fail. True capitalism should allow for people who aren't good at managing risk and their money properly to create more of it. And this goes for businesses and individuals. Those people should fail, but that's not happening. And why is that? Why is that not happening? Because the Federal Reserve is printing money, otherwise known as quantitative easing. They're printing money. They're not actually printing it. They're just expanding the money supply in the electronic ledger. They're expanding the money supply, and they're bailing out companies by buying their bonds. So I've recorded a couple different drafts of this video, but the definition, in one of the, I don't know if it was this draft or another one, the definition of capitalism is that the production lies in hands of private business owners, right? People, the private sector is who owns the means of production, right? And that means that it's also on them if they fail. But what has happened is the Fed has stepped in and they've printed trillions of dollars. They've printed trillions of dollars. And they've bought bonds. They've bought bonds. I'm still getting used to this whiteboard thing here. They've bought bonds of the owners. They've bought bonds of these companies, like the airlines. Airlines. That's a big one. So what happens when they buy bonds? That means that they literally own the obligations of this company. They own the obligations of this company. We knew that the airlines are going to default on that debt. But if the government goes and buys the bonds, then the airlines won't fail. The airlines won't fail. There's no incentive for owners to be good at managing risk. And now the government controls the means of production. That's not capitalism. That's socialism. The government controls the means of production, right? So this is why America is not capitalist right now, is because the PPE loans, right? Businesses can go out and they can get a loan and just pay people and not fail. Individuals getting a stimulus check. Is that stimulus check going to keep people from going under? No, probably not. Not if they have a ton of debt, right? But they're still getting bailed out. They're still, it's still free money, right? And then it's disproportionate because these companies that are just struggling right now have no incentive to reallocate their money in a way that could get themselves out of a crisis. So really what's happening right now is because of the Federal Reserve. Oh, what was that? Because of the Federal Reserve and their policies, the government, the feds, they're taking control of the owners. They're buying their obligations, ensuring that they can't fail. In capitalism, the feds don't intervene. They're taking control of the production. They're debasing the value of the dollar by printing it because they've created so much more dollars. Dollars are worth less because there's a lot more of them. So what does that mean? What does that mean? It means that everything is more expensive. It means that if you have $100,000 of cash sitting in a bank, it's worth 10% less because they just expanded the money supply by 10% in the last year. It's not rocket science. So, this is not a capitalist society, because when businesses can't be allowed to fail, then it hurts everybody. Stagnates the economy. We are moving away. We are moving away from capitalism right now. We are moving away from that. Everybody's saying capitalism is bad. Capitalism, look what capitalism is doing. It's not capitalism, guys. If we were a truly capitalist society right now, all these big businesses would have failed already. And our dollars would be worth a lot more. But instead, we debase our currency by printing money, give it to companies, give it to individuals, create a moral hazard, and the government slowly takes ownership of assets, businesses, of people. So I'm not like some conspiracy theorist here, okay? I'm just saying that real capitalism is a system where there is no safety net at all. There is no safety net at all. And why could that be a good thing? Why could that be a good thing? Because if you knew that you were 100% responsible for what happens if you fail, would you be more careful? Would you think things through? Would you be less frivolous with your money? Yeah. But that's not how our society is. Our society today is saying, you know what? You get a bunch of student loan debt, you get a bunch of loans in your name, all this stuff, we will forgive it for you. I know Biden recently came out and said that he wasn't going to do that, but a lot of people have said, do it, do this. Think about that. There is a desire right now for people to say, you know what? We sunk ourselves into debt, and we want you to forgive us. We want you to bail us out. And if everybody gets a bailout, we are not in capitalism. If everybody gets a bailout, then we are in a situation where the government owns us, right? They have the means of production. They control our incomes. They control our lives. So what do you think about, the coming times? I know that this video has been all over the place. I'm just going to upload it, not edit it. I'm just going to upload it. Kind of been some rambling thoughts. I'm sure I could have explained some things better. I'm going to make more content like this with the whiteboard and kind of talking about my thoughts on the economy and all that, because I just think it's interesting stuff. So anyways, if you've enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and be sure to comment with your thoughts, and we'll have a conversation about that. Because again, I'm an econ nerd. I love talking about this stuff and theorizing about it. So if you're the same way, let's connect. All right. Until next time. See ya.